It began with 3 sharp knocks. Not frantic, not polite, just calculated taps against the door. I had just sat down with chamomile tea. My daughter Lily, 8 years old, had finally drifted to sleep. Weighted blanket, white noise machine humming softly, the kind of fragile peace that mothers cling to. The second knock came, sharper. I opened the door. There he was, a police officer, mid-30s, uniform crisp, hand resting too close to his holster. And beside him stood Karen Lambert, HOA president, queen of Mulberry Glen, a woman who treated control like oxygen. But my eyes froze on the figure between them. Lily, my daughter, barefoot, eyes wide, fists clenched, trembling. "Ma'am," the officer said stiffly, "we received a complaint of suspected neglect. The child refuses to speak." "Refuses?" My laugh was bitter. "She doesn't refuse. She's autistic. She's nonverbal. That's her diagnosis." Karen stepped forward, smooth as silk, venom wrapped in a smile. "When a child refuses to communicate, it becomes a community safety concern. We don't know what's going on in her head." What was going on in her head? Safety, fear, trust that was being ripped apart right there on my doorstep. I knelt, arms open. "Come here, baby." Lily pressed against my chest, silent but pleading. And then the officer mumbled the unthinkable. "Ma'am, I'll need you to let her come with me. Just protocol. Temporary." Temporary. But when you take a child like Lily from her safe space, you're not moving a body, you're fracturing trust. I had no choice. I let go. Watched the squad car disappear into the night. 2 hours later, I found her in a sterile ER room, rocking, eyes hollow. She hadn't made a sound. I just whispered over and over, "You're safe. I've got you." They released her with apologies and paperwork. But when we got home, there was a letter waiting in our mailbox. On HOA letterhead, "Minor resident Lily Hale is required to appear before the HOA board to address ongoing behavioral concerns." Behavioral concerns? For being autistic? That was the moment something shifted inside me. Not grief, not even rage. Something colder. A reset. In the days that followed, Lily withdrew further. She stopped humming her bedtime tune, stopped playing under the oak tree, stopped reaching for me. That silence broke me. And then came another letter, this one targeting me, a residency review. So I pulled out my old law school binder, dusted off my legal pad, and began to build a case. I documented everything, every diagnosis, every medical report, every HOA letter dripping with words like disturbance and unresponsive child. Then came the video. My neighbor, Howard, Vietnam vet, quiet man, handed me a flash drive from his Ring camera. The footage? Crystal clear. Karen on the sidewalk, arms folded, telling another board member, "She just stands there like a freak, doesn't even speak. What if she snaps?" That was it, my momentum. I filed a federal lawsuit, violation of the ADA, emotional distress, gross negligence, and I named them all. Karen, the HOA, even the officer who enabled it. The case made headlines. Parents rallied. "Medical needs aren't violations," read one protest sign. Court came fast. Loretta, pearls shining under the fluorescent lights, sat across the aisle, confident. I stood at the plaintiff's table, alone, binder in hand. The jury watched footage of Karen mocking Lily. They saw my daughter curled beneath her weighted blanket. They heard therapists testify how trauma had replaced progress. Karen's lawyer tried to argue context. I looked the jury in the eye and asked, "Does context matter when an 8-year-old stops eating? When a child's trust is shattered because adults weaponized policy against her disability?" Silence filled the courtroom. The verdict came back in less than 4 hours. $250,000 in damages. Karen stripped of her role. HOA ordered into ADA compliance training. I didn't cheer. I didn't cry. I just nodded. But the real victory came months later. I was working at my laptop when Lily padded barefoot into the room. She pressed her hands to the keyboard, concentrated, and typed 6 words. You stopped the bad lady. I dropped to my knees, pulled her close, tears falling. No, baby, I whispered. You did. You gave me the reason. Her silence had become the loudest voice in the room. And in the end, justice didn't whisper. It roared. So I'll ask you, what would you have done if someone tried to take your child because they didn't understand her? Drop your thoughts below, because policy doesn't define humanity, and silence will never erase truth.